All right. Hey there, y'all. Welcome. Today, we're going to have a conversation with one of my clients, Barbara Harris, and we're going to talk a little bit about her experience. So, welcome,
Hi. Hi. Glad to be here. Thanks, Lisa.
Barbara. All right. So, what the people probably most want to know is how much weight did you lose?
I lost 30 pounds from the first time that Lisa and I met, or you and I met, I guess, in at the end of July until the end of December. I lost 30 pounds. And I hate to say it because it sounds so trite, but really without having to make much of an effort. It didn't feel like hard work at all.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
All right. So, take us back a little bit to the before. Can you kind of remember where you were
Oh
at the
God.
end of
Yeah.
July that led to you like reaching out, booking that initial consultation?
Yeah. I was sick and tired of being sick and tired. And I was scared. I have a history of diabetes in my family. I have a history of heart disease in my family. I have people who have lost limbs due to amputations due to diabetes. I took one of those online tests and it said I was at risk for prediabetes, and that sort of freaked me out. But more than anything else, I just felt sluggish. I felt like I couldn't keep up with my kids. I felt like I couldn't do the things I wanted to do. Everything hurt, my hips, my back, my knees, my feet, my joints. And I was just tired of feeling old when I'm not old.
Yeah, and I think that's important for people our age to know. I had that
Right.
same experience as I was not feeling good in my early 40s and I thought, "Oh, this just may," right? Like old people always complain about not feeling
Right.
good. This must be when it starts.
Right. But it doesn't have to be that way. It doesn't.
Mm,
And I'm learning that. I feel better than I did 4 months ago.
wow, that's fantastic. All right. So jump us forward to where you are now. Let's just start with how you're physically feeling since we were talking about that. How do you physically feel in your body now?
Yeah, I feel great. I First of all, just from an emotional perspective, I can look in the mirror and not hate what I see, and that really is huge for me. I also am fitting into fun clothing, and I feel energetic. I feel like the food I'm eating is giving me energy rather than weighing me down. Um, and this morning we're on vacation in Florida right now, and I did a 3 mile walk on the beach this morning because it was just so beautiful, and I didn't want to stop. And I knew I could keep going. I could have kept going longer, except I needed to get back for this call. So it is. It's just this feeling, physically feeling lighter, but then emotionally feeling lighter as well, and physically feeling like I'm capable of so much more.
Yeah, yeah. And I think Florida vacation is more fun when you feel good in your body, right?
Oh,
Because
for sure.
you're
Yeah.
going to be
Oh, yeah.
seeing more of it than you will in the frozen north in the winter, right?
That is very true. Yes, it's short season come early and bathing suit season come early, so you better be ready.
Yeah, absolutely. A little taste of summer in the middle of winter. All
Yeah,
right, so
but
go
it's
ahead.
also not even, sorry, it's not even about just feeling like you look good in the bathing suit, right? It's feeling like you have more energy. You wake up in the morning before the sun comes up and you want to go for a walk on the beach. It's not like, oh God, I've got a food hangover. And I mean, especially when you're on vacation, it's so, I think if I had done this a year ago, I probably would have gained 10 pounds in the 2 weeks we were down here. I honestly don't think I've gained anything. My clothes still fit great. Um, and I'm eating a big healthy salad because I want to, not because I say, oh, I better eat a salad. So just I'm enjoying the food, fresh fish and healthy vegetables and fruit, and just yeah, really
Yeah,
loving that too.
yeah. And that would have sounded crazy to you a year ago, right?
Oh, I couldn't have even imagined it a year
Yeah,
ago. I,
yeah,
I would have told you were lying.
yeah.
Yeah,
The
no chance.
brainwashing has been very thorough.
Yeah, right. Because well, of course, I mean that's who I am, right? I'm the kind of person who dot dot dot. But that's what I've been able to change, right? Is to see past that. And it used to be, well, this is how I am. I can't change that. But now I'm realizing it's just a matter of changing your mindset and thinking about it differently. And what is the purpose of food? Why am I eating it? Why am I eating this? Am I eating this because I'm sad? Am I eating it because I'm bored? Find inspiration in the fridge. Or am I eating it because I want to feel my body and the sad and the bored and the lonely and the grieving and the frustrated, I'm dealing with in different ways, in better, healthier ways.
Yeah. And you kind of, we don't have to go too much into this, but you kind of alluded to it. I think a lot of people think I'm going to wait till all the conditions in life are perfect and then I will start. And I remember we talked about that at the beginning. So tell people a little bit, because you had some of that, like maybe I should wait till everything's perfect. And I would say, and you tell me, but I would say it was probably a good thing that you didn't wait till everything was perfect, because it was really sort of trial by fire and may have been part of what helped. So tell me a little bit about that from your perspective.
For sure. And I don't mind sharing, when we first met, it was right before my mom passed away. And in fact, the day that my mom passed away, we had a meeting scheduled. And so, if I actually thought about, well, maybe I'll just wait. I've got this trip to Nebraska planned. I'll see mom, and maybe I'll start with Lisa after that. And thinking back on that, having some of those initial early coping techniques in place when I was going through the death of my mom and her funeral and all of that was so incredibly helpful to me. And I think the reality is, right, it's never going to be perfect. The time is never going to be the right time. Now is the right time. And if not now, then tomorrow or whatever. What you have to just kind of say, if I wait until all the stars align, it's not going to happen. And so for me, especially because it was such an incredibly stressful time in my life, it helped to mitigate that stress, because I didn't add a layer of additional sort of unhealthy behavior on top of what was already happening from a stress perspective.
Yeah. So we talked a little bit about before and after.
Right.
So if I were watching this, the how question, right?
Yeah.
We can talk a little bit about what you did, but would more like to focus at least first on the work we did together. So how did you go from, somebody feeling sluggish, not being able to imagine yourself like wanting salad on vacation, to this kind of new version that's like, actually, they have salad at amusement parks. Who knew? We talked about that before we got on.
Yeah.
So in terms of our work together, how did that help bridge that gap from the before to the after?
I think for me, the biggest part, and the part that was honestly life-changing, is somewhere along the line, I stopped obsessing about food. And previously, and I'll be honest, I hope I don't get too emotional on this. Previously, with every diet and thing I've ever tried, it was obsessing over either I was eating as much as possible to stuff down some feeling and obsessing over food that way, or I was on some super restrictive diet and I was counting every calorie and every fat gram and weighing my cereal to make sure I didn't go over the amount. And it's so freeing to me to not be obsessing about food. I can't even tell you how much of a difference that makes to me. I used to be a binge eater, and I have not binged in the last 4 months. For me, food is very tied into emotions. And what you did, and I think this is what made the biggest difference for me, was you helped me to deal with my emotions in a way that didn't involve food, or very honestly, any other compulsion like overspending or drinking every night or things like that. And so, some of the techniques that you have taught me, the EFT, the tapping, the thinking about the feeling that's behind the thought, that's behind the action, etc. So I'm really thinking through, why am I thinking this? Why am I feeling this way? What's going on, before I react and respond with stuff with my face. And then because I've managed to deal with it on that higher level, then that urge to stuff my face is gone.
Gotcha. Is there any one thing that stands out as something that made the biggest difference, or the moment when everything shifted?
That's a good question. I in terms of techniques and things specifically that made the most difference, I think the tapping was the one that made a huge difference to me. Right. And I taught it to my sisters during mom's funeral time. I taught it to some of my work colleagues, or showed them what it was. I shouldn't say taught it, because I'm not licensed to teach it, but showed them what it was we had a massive work conference and we were all crazy stressed, and showed it to them, and I actually saw them doing it, and I did it, and sort of sometimes would take myself off to a quiet corner and calm myself down, so that I wouldn't just, again, stuff my face. I don't really remember a specific point in time where it clicked, so much as sort of all of us, I guess maybe that was it. All of a sudden it just became easy to not choose the food as my coping mechanism. And I was kind of amazed because, the first week or so on your new diet, always like there's a big loss or whatever. And I don't think there was a huge loss the first week, but it was then just this consistent, steady loss, almost sort of surprised every time I stepped on the scale. Like, look at that, I lost weight again. Because I wasn't killing myself with willpower and being restrictive and no, you can't do that, you can't have this, and telling myself all the time no, 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 no. And so I was really pleasantly surprised to see that the weight was coming off, even though I wasn't being unkind to myself in order to achieve it.
Yeah, it's so good, so good. Well, and you kind of touched on this, but I think it's important to bring out, because this is part of my sneaky ulterior motive. Like, yes, of course, it's about losing the weight. That's what people come to me for. It would be a pretty crappy business if people didn't get what they came for. But I do think it's because of the nature of the work we're doing, it spills out. So, but let's kind of start with the first piece of that. Was it because I talked to a lot of women, a lot of whom are moms, they have partners, they have employees, coworkers. Was it hard for you to invest time and money in yourself? Did it feel at all selfish?
No, because I deserve it. And very honestly, and I know it sounds trite, but it goes back to that whole put on your own oxygen mask before you help others, right? Or you can't pour from an empty jug, whatever cliches you've heard about it, it really is true. And I talked to my husband about it, and I said, look, there's this program, it's going to cost quite a bit of money. Can we do it? And he said, is it going to make you happier? And I said, yes. And he said, let's do it.
Yay.
And honestly, given the probably thousands upon thousands of dollars I've invested in various diet things over the years and decades, this has been far and away the best investment I have ever made. And because it's an investment in me. And again, because it's not just about the weight loss. Yes, the weight loss is, very frankly, the weight loss is a wonderful side effect. I came into this thinking it was about the weight loss, but for me, it's become so much more because it has spilled out into those other areas of my life. And I think a lot of times, if you're trying not to lose weight.
Interrupted there for network issues. Tell us just a little bit about how this work. Yes, you invested in yourself. You did it for yourself. You're getting results for yourself. How has it spilled out into your family life?
I think I'm a happier mom, so I'm a better mom. And I'm a happier wife, so I'm a better wife. And I when the kids want to do something fun outside, I can do it with them. I still can't throw the ball because I'm not going to be able to throw the ball.
But I don't teach coordination.
But I can run around with them. We can go do the fun things. We can go on the hike. I can be more present. I can be more involved. And that's just really important to me. And I think that, and in terms of work as well, I think I'm a better employee and a better colleague because I am able to cope with the everyday stressors and the big stressors that come up. I've got some coping mechanisms that will also enable me to deal better with my colleagues and like that as well. So I think it was an investment in myself, but I think really the benefits have had a kind of a ripple effect with my family, my friends, my work as well, for sure.
Yeah. All right. And again, if I kind of go in my mind to the person watching this,
right.
of course it worked for me. Of course it worked for you. You wouldn't be probably on a marketing video for me if it hadn't, right? They know that. They're on to us.
Yeah.
So is there anything like special and magic about you that you think, oh, because I'm this way, it worked especially well for me, or the kind of person you think it would work well for?
That's a great question. I think for sure for me, I was ready to do it. I think maybe I hit my rock bottom. And I was prepared to do the sort of introspective work that's required. Because so much of what you do does dig a little deeper into the why and not just the what and the how and the how much. And so I think, again, a year ago, if you'd asked me if I could do this, I wouldn't have thought I could, but I was prepared to do that difficult work, really going into myself a little bit and thinking about my emotions, my feelings. And then that helped. So I think you do need to be ready to do that hard work and taking a good hard look at yourself and your life and asking yourself the difficult questions and being able to sit with that discomfort that comes along with it. Because this isn't just count your calories and you'll lose the weight. It really is give some serious thought to what is making you reach for the food or reach for whatever that other compulsion might be. So I think the only thing is be prepared. I think it works for people who are willing to do that part of the work.
Gotcha. Well, and that's part of why I love working with women over 40. I think it's fun because like nothing in the world other than the music at Publix, nothing in the world is really like for us, for our generation. So I love that. And then I also I find a lot of my clients are at that point anyway. We're kind of in that midlife transition of the kids don't need me as much as they used to. Who am I going to be going forward? What do I want? And we're at an age where, if the kids are growing up, heading out, do I still want to be with this partner anymore? Do I still want to be this person anymore? So it's a big time for reinvention anyway. So is there anybody you think it would not work well for?
I think for people who aren't ready to do a deep dive into the feelings and what's going on in your life, and sometimes you're not ready, and that's okay. I think that's for me the big one is it's not for the person who is not willing to unpack some baggage, I guess. If you're at a place in your life right now where everything is on a tight rein and you've just got to keep it together, then maybe it's not quite the right time for you. But when you're ready to sort of unpack that baggage and let it go, then it's then it's great, really.
Yeah.
And it's not even like it's a huge time commitment or anything like that, right? Because it's the weekly meeting, an hour at a time, and so I think anyone can find an hour, right? We waste an hour scrolling our phones sometimes. So from that perspective, it's really, I think, a matter of if you're not in a place where you can unpack the feelings, then it's not right for you yet.
I would agree. If somebody's only looking for like, just give me, I want a meal plan. I want like a recipe book. I want to know how many sit-ups I have to do, how many times per week.
Right.
Yeah, I'm not going to give you any of that. You're going to be confused and disappointed. So
yeah, that's
put that
true.
out in the open. Yeah.
Right. That's exactly the thing. This is not a diet program. It's not a meal plan. It's not. And that's been really freeing as well, right? I haven't logged calories and counted macros and calculated points and all of those things because the desire to eat and the need to squash that desire is gone, right? Because I feel like, and I remember you even saying this, because you sort of push down on the desire and then it flies back up again. But that desire is just kind of, it's all good. I don't need it to feel good. So. Yeah.
Fantastic. All right, we'll go ahead and wrap up. So if you're watching this, it's going to come out the very first week of January. So next week of 2023. If you catch it the first day or two that it comes out, then the first Saturday in January, I'm having a 3-hour workshop. It is a paid workshop because we're going to do real work. It's not just marketing. So that is coming up. You can go to lisaduke.net/2023 to get all the details on that. If you've missed that, no worries. I'm do initial consultations as our schedules demand. So you can go to lisaduke.net/schedule, get some more information on the program. There at the bottom of the screen, there are additional testimonials, and kind of in the middle of that page, you can go to my online calendar, pick a time that works for you. All the times out there work for me. And we can talk about it one-on-one to see, will this program work for you? Address any lingering questions that Babs and I missed, and just go for there. So lisaduke.net/2023 before January 7th, lisaduke.net/schedule after for an initial consultation to talk more about you. So thanks everyone for watching, and have a great day.